we're off. Flexion, extension of the spine. Nice and gently, we're not all warmed up yet, so nice and gently rolling down through the spine. When you're in that forward fold, come across the hands behind the back, rolling the shoulders back, shake out the head, just pause here for a moment before we roll up through the spine. So keep the knees bent, drop the arms, rolling up through the spine. We're going to gradually work our way to that kind of waterfall, flowing forwards and backwards. Then soften the knees, upper back bend here, cactus arms, and then chin to chest, and let's roll down again. Hold the backs of the legs as you roll down. And then leading with the elbows, rolling up through the spine, chest open wide. 2 or 3 more of those, or if you feel limbered up, we can flow, a waterfall flow forwards and downwards. Just if it's one of the first vigorous movements of the day, we want to maybe keep the pace nice and slow so we don't get dizzy. If we do pick up the pace, it's a nice way of starting to get a little bit more oxygen pumping around the body. We're going slowly raining it down, feeling the stretch through the body. Whichever version you do, let's have one more rolling down through the spine. And then rolling up. Just because I love the extended side angle, that's what we're doing next to warm up the sides of the body. So starting with the toes pointing forwards, left toes then open out to the side, bend the knee, check it's trapping over the toes, and let's go straight away into reaching into those top fingertips. Maybe the arm comes over the ear. And let's keep the bottom tucked. So you're starting to get that hip flexor release, but then inner thigh stretch in, which deepens as I use the elbow. Spine long, chin tucked, so mini double chin here, and stretch. Get the longest you can be into those fingertips all the way down to your little toe. Squeeze the glutes, grip the floor with the feet, and then let's take it to the other side. So big stretch across the deltoids as we center up and change the feet. Right toes out to the right, bend the knee, tracking over the toes, not dipping forwards, and stretch, carve through the air. Reach, reach, reach that long diagonal line from the little toe into the fingertips. So we try to avoid collapsing through that back arch. See if you can lengthen it down the spine, into the fingertips, still a nice position for the neck, back of the head, in line with the back of the pelvis, grip the floor with the feet, active legs, glutes powered up, and then let's flow at your pace. So don't worry if we're not at the same pace. So we'll go side to side so that you're feeling every bit of the transition, was gripping the floor, waking up all the muscles of the body. See if we can involve the whole body as we flow side to side, waking up the muscles either side of the body. Each time we come over, trying to get a little bit longer, maybe the arms can stretch in opposite directions. Oh, it just feels so lovely. So only going as far as you feel you can go to get that yummy, lovely stretch opening. Let's have one more each side, or even yourself out left and right. Ah, yummy. Okay, let's keep the legs wide, knees still turned out, toes turned out, and then straighten up. I'm actually consciously running my fingers down the outsides of the belly of this set of quadriceps, down over the knees, down either side of the shin, and up the leg. Pressing down, which almost gives you a little bit of traction, think about space in the hip joints. Don't worry how far down you come, as long as we're getting sensations, getting a little bit of stretch is fun. Wherever your hands are, let's take a little twist. Feeling that around the shoulder blades, and then pressing the other way. So we're deepening the inner thigh stretch a little bit, but it's more about the shoulder coming down towards or in the direction of the opposite knee. Once more each side. And then toe and heel the feet in. We're going to start by next stretching the quadriceps. If you need a wall, you've got a chair nearby. If you need a strap, looping it around the top of the foot, that's fine. If you have a wall nearby, you can lightly lean the top of the foot against the wall and lean back. The nice thing about that is you really get the stretches to the top of the foot as well, and you can determine how deeply you take the stretch by how much you lean back. So wherever you are, whichever version is all good. Trying to iron out the crease at the top of the leg, feeling length down to the knee. Maybe you're working on a balance here, away from the wall. Straighten up through the spine. Lengthen. The same active leg. Let's give a dedicated stretch out to the hamstrings. Then just standing knee. And fold. Again, a good massage. Big fan of self-massage. Get your fingers right into those muscles in the backs of the legs. Breathing deeply. Lovely. Last of all, stay with the same active leg. Step behind. Tilt the bottom under. So the crease goes. You can bend this front knee a little bit. The arm that corresponds to that back leg, lift overhead. And we're taking a diagonal backward stretch. So we're trying to feel like that's the stretch all the way up the leg, across the body into the fingertips. I'm using my spare hand to keep the tailbone pointing down to the floor, long through the spine. Now to play around with the angle of that kind of backwards diagonal stretch to feel sensations, releases in the front of the body. And then same to the other side, come out. Quads first of all. So we're either holding the foot, we're leaning on the wall, maybe we take the knee forwards to find the foot, maybe the strap loops around. And again, if you're lucky enough to have a wall just behind like me, we can lean into the toes to stretch from the top of the foot. And then with the pelvic tilt, we can get rid of the crease at the top of the leg, and that's where we're going to then target those hip flexors. Breathing deeply. So pressing the knee down to the floor, so find length and space in the hip joints, bending niggles in your knees. Just make sure you come out, back off a little bit, and keep the knee right under the hip. Another breath here. Limbering up, hamstrings to the same active leg, plant the heel of the foot, and we'll come into a fold. Not too concerned how deeply we fold, but let's get that nice squidgy massage going for the back of the leg. Just focusing a little bit more release, softness. The last in the trio, that active leg, place it behind. In order to get the stretch, you might need to soften that front knee a little bit. So your spare hand on the lower back, the hand that corresponds to your back leg lifts, and then it's a kind of diagonal backward movement, so we're getting, it's a psoas major, all the hip flexors, we're training the tailbone down so that we can get that lovely stretch across the hip. Reaching into the fingertips, adding a little bend in the front knee can help a little bit with your stability. And breathe. Amazing. And slowly release. All right. So we're going to think about strengthening the muscles of the hips, and then we'll get movement back into the hips. We'll start with the legs wide. We're going to think about coupling two movements, moving between the two with a little focus area in mind each time. So let's first of all take a warrior one over to the left. So left toes to the left wall, and we need to adjust that back heel in a little bit. Play around with the distance of the feet where you feel grounded. Then front knees tracking over the toes, and the warrior one, we want the hips square to the front of your mat, pointing in the direction of the knee. So tailbone slightly tucked, shoulders back and down into the first round of here. Warrior one sort of position into what will be more of a humble warrior position. I want the hands on the hips. This is so that we've got the fingers wrapping around the fronts, the crests of the hips, the thumbs at the back. In this warrior one position, we can lift the hip bones up so that we're really stretching the hip flexors and we're really in control of the position of the pelvis. So we've got a strong foundation with the feet. Try to feel as though you're scissoring the thighs together without actually moving. So we've got that engagement in the inner thighs. The fingers are helping to tilt the pelvis under. Now from here, it's very tempting when we come into a fold just to roll down through the spine, and we actually lose a lot of our stability there. So let's see if we can lead the movement with the pelvis. So with the hands on the hips, long spine, chin, same distance from the chest throughout. With the fingers are wrapped around, see if you can feel that slow adjustment of the pelvis tipping forwards, and we keep that stability and length in the spine. So if we focus on that awareness in how we're holding, moving the pelvis, and same in reverse, use your fingers to help that movement of the pelvis, we'll gradually over time get a little bit smoother and stronger in this position. So try a couple more times. If you feel you've really got a sense of leading the movement with that pelvic tilt of the spine, has that strong foundation throughout, you can lift the arms, but try to anchor your awareness into the pelvis. So the hips are square to the front throughout. So in this particular set of movements, warrior one, humble warrior, we're leading the movement with that tilt in the pelvis. We try and keep strong through the feet. So as we come up to standing, it's partly initiating that movement with the pelvic tilt, partly strong through that standing front foot. So as we come up in tandem with the pelvis moving, the foot is pressing into the floor. Amazing. Let's try the other side. We will be linking all of these in a moment. So we've got the same distance between the feet. Now right toes turn to the right, and we adjust that back foot to allow us to swirl the hips up to the other side. Hands again wrapping, because it might feel different on this side, different level of flexibility. We bend the front knee till it's roughly over the ankle, and now use the fingers to tilt the pelvis, that posterior backwards tilt of the pelvis. So in warrior one, we have the work into the front of the hip. As we hinge forwards, we engage the feet with the floor and we start to tip the pelvis forwards. And fairly quickly we find the stretch goes into the hamstrings of the back leg. You can experiment with just rounding the back forwards and backwards, and you'll immediately see it goes sloppy through here, and it's just into the back. Far less strength, grounding foundation through the legs. We start to get some appreciation for how important it is how we hold the pelvis. So keeping that strong foundation for the spine. Keeping that pelvic tilt appropriate for the level of the spine. You can scissor the thighs together. It's hard and very strenuous, but it's all part of that strong foundation. How are we doing? Last time, you can add on the arms here, but try to keep that awareness into the pelvis. We're starting with the posterior tilt, and then we tilt anteriorly. So the spine stays low. Pressing into the floor. Oh my goodness. Over to the first side. This time we'll think about warrior two. So this time the back toes are pointing forwards, front toes. That's the other forwards, isn't it? So the hips are a little bit more open in warrior two. So setting up here, you can adjust the distance between the feet. So we have the front heel in line with the back arch, and we have this long vertical line at the center, reaching forwards and backwards through the arms, and we still need a slight pelvic tilt. Now to go from warrior two to peaceful warrior, I'm going to ask you to then keep the pelvis stable. So we grip the floor with the feet, arms open wide, we flip the front palm, hold the head, and with that strong foundation, pelvis down, we're now bending like in a strong bamboo reed in the wind, just folding back, and then rebuilding. So there are two positions. So it's still strengthen the pelvis, strengthen the hips, but we're using the pelvis, the position of the pelvis in a different way. Trying to keep them more or less level, the hips. You got to see something that looks like it floats. It's actually really strenuous. We want to keep the tailbone pointing down, particularly if you do have quite a pronounced curve in the lower back. You want to really make sure you're protecting the lower back. And let's try it to the other side. Beautiful. This time, left toes point forwards, right toes to the side. Take a bend in the knee, and you see we've opened the hips more to the front, unlike the warrior two. In a thigh stretch, we have to remind ourselves to keep the knee open, shoulders back and down, vertical line up the center of the body. So feel your center of gravity. So right under the base of the pelvis, up the body for warrior two. Pelvis stays secure, and then we can take the head in the hands and start to lean back with control. So you'll see these extreme peaceful warriors. We've kind of lost the strength, so we're going to go for a strong, controlled transition from warrior two, stable pelvis, strong foundation through the legs, into that controlled stretch to the side of the body. So it means we can transition out with strength, and we maintain the stability in the core. A couple more times. Oh, it's a hot one today. So, checkpoints, make sure you're protecting the lower back, pelvis stable, front knee pointing to the side wall. One more like this. Taking your side bend, feeling whatever stretch in the side of the body, but with control, lowering down, so the feet gripping the floor, strong through the legs, and then back up to warrior two, float down. Woo! Back to the first side, we're going to link all four. So initially for warrior two, we need the hips square to the side. We can think about tilting the pelvis back, hip flexor stretch here. So let's take a warrior one. Now remember, leading with the pelvis, but still strong through the legs, we can bow down. If you're coming quite far down, you want to come slightly to the inside of the knee, but I'm more concerned about you owning every bit and you stopping when you feel the pelvis can't tilt anymore, because at that point we're collapsing through the spine, pressing up through the foot. Come to warrior two, we adjust the back heel, find your position, hips now opening more to the front, stabilize the pelvis and lean back. Long, think about that bamboo reed, long but strong, and return, change the feet. So the toes right, adjust your back heel, and we square up to the front knee bends over the toes, we're in warrior one, long through the tailbone. Feel that posterior tilt of the pelvis, and then leading with the pelvis, but gripping the floor with the feet. We hinge. Leading with the pelvis. Just exploring where you can come to, where you still have that support for the spine with the angle of the pelvis. Press into the front foot to come all the way back up. And we spin the front arm down, toes, back toes to the side to warrior two. Take a breath in here, feel this lovely openness in the hips. Front knee tracking over the toes, and we hinge, side bend, leaning back, side and front of the waist here, bottom tucked into that peaceful warrior, stretching into the fingertips. With control, resetting and pressing on down. Wonderful, toe and heel the feet in, we're going to shake out. Now that was all very solid, strengthening for the hip muscles. Now let's get a bit of movement back in. So let's press your weight into the right foot and just internally rotate that left knee and externally rotate. So just flowing in and out. If you've got your balance or if you've got a wall handy, you might be able to draw a figure eight on its side. But here, just back to mobility in the hip. Feeling a nice flow and movement. This is all going well. Maybe you add on the arms, that right through to the fingertips, finding a nice flow and movement. Your wall or a chair to hang on to. All the better. Now, because we've been all about the pelvis, can we keep the hips level? If we sink down, we really strengthen those medial glutes. We'll work on them. We'll be a little bit unbalanced. Nice flowing movement. The arms can go wherever you like. It's all about freeing up the hips and then over to the other side. Plant the weight into your foot. Slightly soften the knee, no locked out knees. And just the main focus, the target is internally rotating and externally rotating. So the toes just skimming the floor. And if that feels easy, doable, you can start to make those swirls. Try to soften the muscles of the hip even well. Option to add on the arm in the same direction. Another day I'll ask you to do in opposite directions. Lovely. Any bigger movements now, just to flow, open up. Not being too prescriptive about where we move, just feeling a lovely openness in the hip. Beautiful. We're going to come down to all fours. There's going to be the option of doing this next exercise on all fours or from down dog. And it's one that you're familiar with, so I'm going to go with all fours for an extension, drawing the knee in. But you can equally do this from down dog, but the weight has to come over the wrists. So when you're ready, we're set up, shoulders over wrists, relax the tops of the feet to the floor, lengthen through the spine, claw into 10 fingers, and see if we can draw those elbow creases forward so we're externally rotating the shoulders. Make sure the toes are separated in line with the knees and ankles, and let's extend the right leg. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, draw the knee forward, so maybe we can touch the triceps of the same arm. Breathe in and extend, and then we're going for the nose. Here, this movement, even if it doesn't reach the nose, this movement is really important for us to work towards stepping forwards in our sun salutations. It will all help. Now, across the body, the next one, the third last in the range, we take it across the body, and let's switch legs. Extend the left leg, take a deep breath in, lengthen through the spine. As you breathe out, see if you can tap the triceps of the same side arm. Breathe in and extend. See if you can keep the weight through both hands. Challenging itself. We're rounding the back. So if you are someone who struggles to step to the front in your sun salutation, we have to round the back to create space. There's so many factors. Tight glutes, tight hams, tightness in the lower back. We also need to get that upper body position to create space and across the body. Good. We're going to take a pigeon. Right knee glides forwards, and we knee and toe the back leg away. If you know pigeon's not for you, just bend that back knee. So we're in this kind of lovely mermaid position. So this is just as good. We're going to turn to face that front thigh, so lining your torso up with the front thigh. That way it doesn't matter whether we're in the full extended pigeon or the leg out to the side. Lengthen through the spine, so that means clawing into the fingertips, chest forward, shoulders back and down. And as you lower down, feel your lengthening, like you kind of claw your chest forward to lengthen the spine, and then find either fists for the forehead. We're on forearms or in a more upright supported position. Find your position, and this is your rest time. So whether the back knee's bent or straight behind you, just feel a little bit of heaviness settling into the body. A little bit of a rock side to side can be quite a welcome way of releasing tension for those external rotators of the front hip, hip flexors of the back leg. Try to soften down, and as soon as we start focusing on the exhalation, we can activate the parasympathetic nervous system. We're starting to calm the body down. Makes us a little bit more resilient for those frustrations, upsets in life. So focusing on where we can have control over the breath, slightly lengthening the out breath. Just enjoy that stillness. The transition to the other side, nice and easy, no jerking. We place the hands back towards the torso and we'll come back via all fours, a little bit of a hip sway, and then we'll take it across the other side. So again, it's either the knee gliding forwards and we sit back so the back knee's bent, or we can adjust. So the leg, we're running down the center line of the leg and the toes are pointing back. Very easy for the toes to curl into the center line, so you can keep the toes long. Just checking things out with a little sway, see how it feels. And then with a long spine, the same thing, by clawing into the fingers, we can lengthen, see what happens to the spine there. But now, because we've been talking about this for a few weeks, maybe we can lengthen through the thoracic spine without the ribs popping out. So there's a slight closure in the front of the body, and it's more a sense of lengthening rather than an upper back bend. As we place our hands forwards, we can keep that sense of length in the spine. Find space for a fleshy beach under your chin. Try not to have the chin sticking out. Long line at the back of the neck. And again, we're coming back to the breath. Trying to find some settling, easing, softening. Take control of your breath. So maybe we can breathe in 4, 3, 2, 1, hold 4, 3, 2, 1, breathe out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's just a suggestion and I spring it on you. It's more if you need some more awareness in how we can actually lengthen that exhalation. Beautiful. One more breath. Any swaying is good. Stillness is brilliant. Slow transition always, no jerking. Come back onto the hands if you're on the forehands. Let's tuck the toes under the back. And again, we'll take that little hip sway, side to side. The next time the hips sway to the right, sink down and look over your left shoulder. It's up to you how far you swivel. It's a nice twist. And over to the other side, let the hips sink to the left and swivel your upper body to the right. Last time each side, we're getting that release right into the neck. So allow your gaze, your head to flow over the shoulder. And last time to the other side. And if you thought that counted breath was throwing a surprise at you, we're doing 100. Come onto your back, tuck the knees into the chest. You can make it as low impact as you like, but let's lengthen the arms. And in this position, the knees can be right into the chest. We're going to strengthen the arms, the back by passing here. If we've got a little bit more fuel left in the tank, we'll lift up. Are you ready with me? With the hands palms, we'll pat down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up, 2, 3, 4, 5, down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up, 2, 3, 4, 5, down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up, 2, 3, 4, 5, down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up, 2, 3, 4, 50. Down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hug the knees into the chest. Yummy rock on the spine. When we come up to kneeling, just for our little close, if you need to sit on a block, grab a block. If you don't have one handy, you can't sit on your knees, any comfortable sitting position is fine. Let's take a deep breath in, stretching overhead. Into a side bend, right hand to the floor, and reach up and over. all the way to the top. Nice deep breath in, lengthen through the spine, left hand to the floor, reach up and over, shoulders down. Twist, reach into the fingers, spread the fingers, opposite hand to knee, long spine and swivel, no collapsing, proud chest. Unwind, deep breath in, hand to opposite knee, shoulders down, chin tucked, and swivel. Your navel, ribs, shoulders, chin, your gaze. And back to the center. Whether you are kneeling or not, if we can, come onto all fours. The last thing, using the weight into the fists, we get a little bit of stretch from the tops of the feet. So leaning back, you place as much weight on the tops of the feet as you feel you need to get a little bit of release in the tops of the feet. This is the very last thing. If you are able to sit on your heels, you might be able to lean back and the knees lift. So all depends on how much tightness we're holding in the feet, along the shins, how the knees are feeling. So no pressure, no forcing, just feeling the level that's right. A little bit of cramping is quite normal here, so you want to ease off and flex the toes. And then finally tucking the toes. If you can sit on the heels, do fire toes, otherwise with the weight into the hands, getting that flexion in the toes. And that's it, our time's up. Shrug the shoulders, some smiling, and we're done.